So this is the basic rat mechanic we have so far. So basically, the rats follow the player by default, and the player controls what the group of rats does by pressing, well, I and O at the moment. We'll replace that with the actual flu mechanics that we have. The only other state that the rats could be in right now is attacking the closest enemy, whom the rats will navigate to automatically via the same nav mesh, and play some kind of attacking animation. And oh yeah, all of the sprites, rat sprites at the moment are taken from HIO just for testing. You can find the link to that in the README text file right here. And there should be no problem replacing them with the ones that we custom make, which should be a whole group of rats per sprite. And the player could call the rats back by pressing O. And so all of this is done with a Pathfind class and a animation controller class. The Pathfind class and the NavMesh component on the rat basically tells the animation controller class what state the the rat is in. So if it's is it idle, is it moving, or is it already at the enemy location and trying to attack the enemy? And from that, the animation controller class will tell the actual animator component on the rat what to do. So using variables. So for example, if we set the is attacking variable to true, then that will correspond to transitioning from the movement animation to the attack animation, and of course vice versa as well. And inside the sort of movement animation, we can branch that into idle animation and blur animation, and they will correspond to having 0 or 1 on the x velocity variable, which is also set in the animation controller class from information from the NavMesh agent component. And yeah, of course, I still need to add many more rat actions like light attack, heavy attack, shield, steal, etc. As well as making it so that the player only sends one group of rats to do one thing at a time. And yeah, oh, actually, one more thing. Since we're working with 2D sprites in a 3D world, we'll also need something to actually angle the 2D sprite towards the camera, or otherwise it's gonna look weird and funny like this. So that's actually just one line of code in some kind of a sprite builder class that's attached to the mice. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello. So this week I was able to encode the input sequences for our flute system. So basically, if you go into game mode and click the specific buttons that I just put here, so left, right, Q, E, and then you press C to confirm the sequence that you want, it'll give the player the specific action that's associated with that specific sequence. So right now I was only able to encode just like some print statements just to make sure that the inputs work. But if I did like, for example, 1, 2, and 3, then it would create an attack, and it shows the sequence right here that the player was able to input. And basically the player can actually click as many buttons as they like, and until they press C, it will take the last 3 buttons that they wanted. So they could choose the sequence that they like, and it won't matter as long as they press C to finally confirm their sequence. So in the code, it's a bit messy, but basically we have the declaration of like each button, and the names are kind of weird because I was kind of going based off a controller, even though I'm on a keyboard right now, but those can be changed. And yeah, I was able to input for each button, and basically over here is when the player presses the specific button, it adds it to a list, right here, the sequence list. And so basically over here in sequence type function, the sequence, once C is pressed, is compared to the list of sequences I have here. In the future, it's probably going to be most likely maybe a kind of dictionary with some delegates, or a different kind of database that is much more efficient than just a bunch of if else statements. But this was just to make sure that it works. But yeah, that is basically it. And then if the player presses more than like 3 of them before C, well, it'll remove the first one and continuously do this. And yeah, that's basically it. And so that's how the flute system mechanism is going to be able to work for our game.